All right, it is Wednesday, and I am here at home when I should be at work because I'm having some service work done today, and I'm waiting for the guys to get here. They give you this really wide window that they'll be here within this time frame. It's basically all day long. So I'm here waiting patiently, and in the meantime, I'm trying to get some of this Guerrilla the Call stuff caught up. So I got an email here from a young gorilla. He's 22 years old, a gorilla in blue. He's a law dog. Not going to say where, what area, jurisdiction, precinct, whatever, because he didn't give me that permission. Put him out there like that. He's like 6 feet tall, 185 pounds. He trains 3 to 4 times a week. He's not afraid to go heavy. He has gained strength, but not the size that he wants. His rep range is between 6 and 8 reps. So right therein lies a problem for what he's trying to accomplish. And his diet, he's taking in, he doesn't break it down to macros, which is what I really need to know. He's taking in 3,500 calories a day, 3,500 calories a day. If that's accurate, man, that's a hell of a metabolism. You're not gaining weight. But here's the fucking rundown. I have already made you a video, and I'm going to attach it to this. And it goes into a lot of different things concerning just different concepts you can apply to gain muscle. To gain muscle, from going from a smaller size. I mean, he's 185 is not small, but at 6 foot, spread it over 6 foot, I understand compared to where he wants to be, it's a little small. So smaller guys trying to pack on that initial bunch of muscle, this applies to you guys. And as you know, I tend to go on and on. So there's a whole lot of information in there that don't get all confused and overwhelmed by everything I'm going to throw at you. It doesn't all necessarily apply to everybody in every instance, right? Every similar situation, but it is all worthwhile stuff and useful. If it weren't useful, I wouldn't even wouldn't even recall it to be able to tell you about it, because at my age, my memory bank's just about full. And for me to put anything new in there, I got to ditch something because there's no more room in there. And right now, I'm not going to cut into my highlight reel. If nothing else, I'm going to at least preserve that for my old age. So I can't afford just to be throwing out shit and remembering new shit. So the shit that's in there that I still remember is important shit. So in other words, if I'm telling it to you, it's probably important somewhere along the way. And you can probably make some use of it. All right, having said that, I've already put you something together. Our breakdown is this. We're going to try to shoot for 4,000 calories a day. It's a lot, but if you're already at 3,500, you're not gaining weight. You're not getting fat, you're not getting muscle, you're not gaining weight. If that's true, then let's move up and try 4,000. It's only 500 calories more. And this is going to be like 45% carbohydrate, 30% protein, 25% fat, which the fat may be a little light. You can play with this, okay? But we end up, so far the breakdown is going to look like this. 300 grams of protein a day, 450 grams of carbs, and 111 grams of fat. I like rice. I think white rice is the shit. I think oats are the shit. I like that shit for carbs. I'm not nuts about that pasta and shit like that, but you can probably afford to eat it. Do what you want to do right now, kind of. Don't get real loose with it. Watch the fat, watch the processed sugars, all that kind of garbage. But watch and see what happens. Give it 2 or 3 weeks and see what you're looking like, and then we can fine-tune it from there. This is just a loose, rough place to start from, see what we can do. Don't forget to take your pictures, as I'll explain going into the rest of the video. All right, so that's it for now. Best of luck. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes. All right, so here we are. I'm sitting here next to the wood stove. It's actually warming up outside. I don't really need this. It's still burning, but I tended to it all night. I kept it going, and which doesn't really take a lot. You stoke it up right. You get a good bed of ash going, embers, and you pack it up with wood before you go to bed, and you already get the house pretty warm, and the heat, disseminates, permeates up into the fucking upstairs from down here, and keeps you warm all night long. Come down in the morning, kitchen floor is nice and warm, everything's warm. And there's still, cinders in there, hot cinders and ash and stuff, and you just throw some more wood in there, poof, leave the door open a minute, and it's back up. But the heat is so dry, it just feels so nice that it's just so cozy. So it was a little bit chilly this morning, so I still have it burning. Anyway, on to this question from this young fellow. Okay, first off, where do we start? Where do we start? Oh my God. So clearly, if you're not gaining weight, bro, then 3,500 calories a day is not enough. Not enough. So, and there are going to be people that disagree with this, but here's what happens. It's just like pre-contest stuff. It works that way with everything. It doesn't have to be contest, but people recognize it works pre-contest. And they should recognize it works across the board. If you follow too many people's advice, all right, if you ask somebody for advice, they give you a program of advice where everything is synergistically designed to work in unison to accomplish a given task, right? Then you begin to collect other pieces of information from other people in different programs, and you try and mix and match all that. Eventually, you're going to have to dial things in and figure out what works particularly for you. But when you first start out, you're just feeling your way. If you're going to give something a chance, I was just listening. If you're going to give something a chance, you need to follow it through to the letter and see what it delivers, and then modify it as you're learning your own body's response and you're seeing what works for you better and this, that. But first, you got to make something happen. And the best way to start out is just with the basics, just to stay together. Don't change the program, alter the program, follow one person's advice, and then you can, with the experience you garner from that, the life experience, and what it reveals to you about yourself and your body, etc., and the program, then you can try other things, and eventually you're going to be able to, come up with your own concoction, make your own stew or whatever that's going to be much to your taste and liking. So having said that, first thing you're going to need to do, I always say, in this case, nothing's been happening for a while. We want to make something happen. Turn the calories up until the scale moves. Turn the calories up until the scale starts to move. I would turn them up 500 calorie increments. So if you're religiously getting 3,500 calories a day, now I don't know if that means you're getting 35 on the money, or sometimes you fluctuate. Maybe you get 3,000 one day, 32. Maybe the next day you might get 36, 37, or maybe you're just striving to hit that 35, and maybe you don't hit that every single day. I don't know. Or maybe you're getting it every day, 35. Either way, let's assume you're getting 35 consistently. Turn that 35 up to 4. Make it 4,000 calories. I can't see you having to go over that. Take up to 4,000 calories. Now, next thing we're going to have to do, what are the macros going to do? And I'll tell you another thing is, you quoted calories to me. That's the only reason I'm recommending this, because normally I let the calories manage themselves. They take care of themselves. And you know what? That may sound bizarre, but to people really like me, it's not bizarre. It's very commonplace. Now, to people looking in from the outside, at the freak show, they count the calories. They think it's all calories. They think it's, let's get the numbers of calories together. When really, we don't pay that much attention to calories. We let them take care of themselves. We pay attention to macros, ratios. It's like the body pays attention to ratios. You understand? In other words, like when you have your testosterone level checked, and there's a number of fucking numbers they'll come up with, and you got to really be able to know what you're looking at to sort through it, make sense out of it. Because one number's going to seem higher, one number's going to seem lower, and you got to know which is which. But there's a wide range that they consider normal. The reason for that is, now, if you're at the low end, it's a ratio proportional thing, just like with the macro thing. Calories take care of itself. The actual number is only a starting point. It doesn't matter as much as the ratio between your test and your epi test. That's what matters. How much, testosterone versus estrogen, the ratio is what matters. If it's a wide variance between the two, then it's just like having more tests. If you can push estrogen down, tests can stay the same number. If you put estrogen down, it's just as if your test is higher now. For all intents and purposes, your test is higher, and your body will respond that it's higher without even augmenting it, because you can push one down. So the answer is not always push one up. You can sometimes just push the other down and accomplish the very same thing, and many times it's in a safer way. So not that we're worried about that right now. We don't know what your test is doing. We don't know any of that. I'm assuming 22 years old, you probably got plenty of testosterone. You're plenty of testosterone. So we don't have to worry about that. You're probably in good shape. You seem athletic. 185, you're saying, 6 foot. So you're probably not fat. You're probably not carrying a bunch of water. You're probably not spongy. So we can assume that estrogen's probably okay. We don't need to worry about pushing that down. But I would say, because you quoted calories, I'm saying 4,000 calories. When in reality, we would be just looking at macros. We would say, okay, how many grams of protein are you getting a day? If you're 185 pounds, eat for what you want, not for what you got, within reason. Okay, if you're 200 pounds, you may want to be 300 pounds, which is crazy, but you may want to be 300 pounds. That doesn't mean you eat for that. Okay, if you're 200, you want to be bigger, you eat for 220. You eat for 230. You don't, take on some kind of crazy task, right? Small steps to the moon. So in your case, 185, I would eat as if I'm 210, 215, 220, 200. More than 185. So I'm going to say you probably should be getting about, I don't know where you're at. If I knew where you were at, it would help a lot. How much protein you get in a day. But I would say you want to get to, let's say, 1.5 grams of protein a day times your body weight. So let's say you're going to eat for a 200-pound guy. I'm going to say, and people are going to say it's fucking nuts. I'm not going to go that high. I'm going to say try to get in over 300 grams of protein a day. Try to get in over 300 grams. If you can get 300 grams of protein a day, that's going to be plenty more than sufficient. Try that. For right now, we need to shock things, throw things for a loop here. Turn that protein up 300 grams a day, wherever you're at. Let's get to 300 grams a day. Spread it out in as many feedings as you can. And there are people that are going to tell you, oh, it doesn't matter if you have it all at once or if you have it, 5 or 6 meals, there's no difference. Bullshit. Bullshit. There's a huge difference. Nobody like me is going to tell you that there's no difference. And it's not just bro science. We know it's real because that's what we do, but there's actual science to back it up. There are actual journals, there are actual studies, there are actual, all kind of fucking bullshit that concluded on paper, if a person has to see it on paper, that protein does have thermogenic qualities. You can actually use protein to speed up your metabolism, and you're gonna have better odds of more or less staying in a positive nitrogen balance if you ingest the protein throughout the day in smaller servings. Now, the actual science concludes that the only time you want to have, if you're taking in fairly even amounts of protein throughout the day, the last intake of protein before bedtime, whatever time your bedtime is, you would want that to be more. You would want that to be higher. All right? You want that one to be a bigger load because you're getting ready to go to bed. And that's the science, man. That's what the studies say. That's the study I just read the other day. So, go figure. I would expect the study's going to get into sources of protein and everything else. If it's going to get me through the night, I don't want it to be way isolate. That's for sure, right? I want a slow digesting protein at night. Anyhow, let's go with get at least 300 grams of protein a day. Carbs, I'm going to say probably take in, try to get about 400 grams of carbs a day. And these are rough numbers. And the fats, I'll tell you something else I'm going to say. The people think I'm nuts, but it's how we do it. The fats take care of themselves. The fats take care of themselves. If you're already limiting the types of foods that you're going to eat, fats are going to take care of themselves pretty much. And if you get to where you really need to worry about focusing on every little thing you're eating, you're going to already be well on your way to where you want to be. Right now, that shit's going to take care of itself. I assume you're already eating fairly clean, you're not overweight, all that jazz. So I would try that. Now in your case, because you haven't had the results you want, I would also choose sources of protein that are more calorically dense. It's simple enough if you eat fish. I don't know if you do, but if you eat fish, opt for a fish like salmon as opposed for like an orange roughy, or opposed to any other white fish. Go with like a salmon. Try some salmon instead, as much as you can. I mean, eat whatever you want to eat. You got to enjoy what you eat. You got to try to as much as possible. Other good sources, of course, are the regular old staples of chicken and turkey, and I don't know, do you eat beef? If you eat beef, beef's a good source. I wouldn't eat the super lean beef. I wouldn't eat like 97% lean or something like that. Maybe I would go with like 90% lean or something like that. At least until you get things moving. Let's get things moving, and then we can fine tune it from there. Keep it very simple. Just let's get the shit moving. Let's make something happen. In your case, I would go ahead and eat fruit. I wouldn't mind eating fruit. Maybe reduce or try to get away from all your, your processed sugars and shit. Carb choices that I like are oats, of course. Any oat-based carb choice. Milk is awesome for getting big. I love the Fairlife. Nobody needs the lactose. The lactose is going to just make you feel bloated and feel like shit in your stomach. Get rid of the lactose, especially if you're on the go and shit. You don't want that lactose all day in your stomach all day. Try and get you some Fairlife milk. Go with that. No lactose in it. More protein in it. 50% more protein, no lactose. Half the sugar, I get the chocolate, so it still has some sugar in it. It's 2%. You can get skim, but you don't need skim. Go with 2%. If it's too chocolatey, get one skim and one 2% chocolate and mix them 50-50. That'll cut back on the chocolate too much if it's too chocolatey for you. I don't know what you like or don't like. So pretty much you can eat, as much as you like to eat. Just find a way that is going to make sense that you can put it together and have it with you and plan it out so you can carry your food with you and eat and get it in. Other calorically dense things, peanut butter, honey, nuts. I like all this stuff for a guy that's trying to gain initial size that he's, you're not overweight. Run it a little bit loose and see what you can eat. Get some calorically dense shit in you to put some weight on. You want the scale to start to move. This is the only goal right now. Make the scale move. As the scale begins to move, then you're going to come back later because you're going to take a picture, one from the front and one from the back, every 2 weeks. Just wear your fucking underwear, whatever. You're not going to put it on the internet or up in the cloud somewhere, whatever that means, or show it around town. You're not going to take out an ad on fucking, whatever, with a picture of you, a personal ad in your underwear. So the picture is just for you. So it doesn't have to be great. You want to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. You want an honest appraisal for you to look at. Because there's things that are going to go on, changes that are going to take place you're never going to see. You see this shit in the mirror all day long, but you don't see it in a 3-dimension, and the picture's only 2-dimensional, but you're still going to get a whole different perspective in a photograph than you get in the mirror. In a mirror, it's totally different. And from the back, shit, you don't see anything from the back. When you start to look at pictures, you're going to see things you didn't even know you had going on. With your shoulders and your back, lower back and your hamstrings, calves, all these things, back of your arms, neck, all this shit. So you lay these things out at 2-week intervals. You take them at 2-week intervals, and then when you're having doubts of what kind of progress you're making, you're going to know because you see the scale move. You lay them out, and you're looking for a change. You're looking to see where the progress is, okay? This way we can assess the gain. All right, you gain a few pounds, you start to look at the pictures and see if it's a gain that's acceptable to you or it's no good. If it's all fat, then you may want to shit can something and we're going to reevaluate, change the diet up some. But at least we're going to know the numbers. We'll have an idea of the numbers. You're going to figure out where you need to be volume-wise of food. Then we're just going to try and maintain that caloric intake kind of sort of because you're the one that quoted calories, so we're going there. We're going to try and maintain that number and just switch up macros. You understand? And because the value calorically is different for grams, depending on what kind of macro it is, that's how we'll juggle it around and arrange it around proportionally so we end up with the same caloric number, right? Sound complicated? No, it's not. It's very simple. But first, get the scale to move. Now, as far as the training itself goes, how you're training, 3 to 4 times a week, I think that should be sufficient. But the rep range is not going to do it. It's not going to get the job done. Your rep range is too low. You need volume. You need to push a lot of blood. You need to get on the board with the L-arginine and the carbolin. I'm telling you, it will pay dividends in spades from the first time you begin to do it. If not the first time, within the first week, you'll start to see what the magic is to it. But you really need to do that. I don't think you can afford to not do it in your case if you really want to make progress. You're either all in or you're not. You know what I mean? Get with that carbolin. The carbolin, it's a carbohydrate supplement. Not any carbohydrate's going to do. It's a special carb. You can read all about it. The carbolin is good. I would take in your case, about 100 grams, which could be 2 scoops of that shit. And it mixes easily. It's just as thin as water. Drink the carbolin with maybe, I don't know, 6, 7 grams of L-arginine for starters and see where that gets you. Maybe 5 grams initially for starters, see where that gets you. Some kind of nice high quality L-arginine powder, right? And what else do we want to do? Rep range. I would say your rep ranges you want to be, you're quoting at your 6 to 8, somewhere around there. Okay, that's going to be good. Your strength is going up for a reason, but you're not getting hypertrophy out of it because of a reason also. Not enough reps. Not enough reps. So let's keep, we're still concerned with strength. And why we're concerned with strength is we care about how much weight we can move for about 15 reps. Let's say we're talking about bench. Okay, I don't know if you bench press or if you don't like to bench press. Some people don't. But let's say you bench press, okay? Here's how I want you to do your workout. You're only fresh when you first come in the gym, the first exercise you do. You're not going to reproduce that amount of effort after that. You're just not going to be capable of it. If you can, something's wrong. You did something wrong. So when you come in, your first exercise for chest on chest day is going to be flat bench press. So you get under there, you start with the fucking bar. You do 25, 30 reps with just a bar, right? Not really fast, not reckless, good form, get in your groove, stretch it all out, right? Feel the push, feel the push, feel the push, right? When you press that bar up, envision that you are squeezing your pecs together. That you're squeezing them together, right? You're rounding your shoulders. That pec is pulling that shoulder around because that's how they work. It's contracting and squeezing them shoulders together as you're benching, all right? And you want to bench about here or here, right? You don't want to be benching up to your neck and shit like George did and tearing a pec. No need for that, especially yet. So first exercise on chest day is going to be flat bench press. You start out with a bar, 20 reps, 25 reps. Not challenging, just warming up, stretching out. Don't want to get hurt. Okay, now put on, and you're thinking this is stupid. You can skip this one set if you like, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Put a quarter and a quarter on. Do like 10 or 12. Then put a 45 on. Do like 10 or 12. Okay, I don't know where you're at with your bench. Now add weight. And I want you to rest sufficiently between sets. I want you to rest on this first exercise. Not after that, first exercise. First exercise you want to be geared towards strength gain, right? And just density. So you want to work up, okay? Once you get to like where half of your 1 rep max is going to be, I only want you to do like 4 reps with that. Then add a little weight, bang, 1 or 2 reps. Rest. Add a little weight, bang, 1 rep. Add a little weight, bang, 1 rep. Now you're really adding less weight because you're getting up there higher. Add a little weight, bang. It should be getting challenging. Add a little weight. When you get to where you're going to get under there, and that son of a bitch is going to be hard for you to get. All right? You push that one out. If you can get a second one, fuck it, do it. Then when you rack it back, jump up, strip weight off, back down to where you would normally get 10 reps, where you could normally do 10 reps straining. Now you're going to find it's going to be too light now because of the CNS fucking, the CNS trickery you've just pulled with this. So when you jump back down under there now, you're going to be able to get like 15 reps, of which you usually would get 10. Do the 15. If you can do 17, do 17. Just next time modify by increasing the weight. Don't go down that heavy. The weight you're going to normally, you could do 10 reps with now is higher because you have more muscle fibers working. You've recruited more fibers by lifting this way. And you'll find out first fucking time it'll work. And you'll go, son of a bitch, he's right. It'll work. That weight, I want you to do like 3 sets of that. Balls to the wall, as many reps as you can get. If you find yourself getting crazy numbers of reps, then you just need to increase the weight next time, not this time. Do as many reps as it takes. Rest. As many reps as you can get. Rest. 3 times. Now you're done chest. You're done flat bench, first exercise. Now after this, we're just pushing blood. We're just chasing the pump. We're stretching the fascia to accommodate more muscle growth. No more of that long rest between sets. Okay? No more allowing for that recovery. And no more going heavy like that. The rest of this is going to be as many angles, as many machines, as many fucking ways with almost no rest that you can go. Much as you can do. To a point where when I use the cables, the reason I like cables, it gives me the perfect timing for my rest. If I'm doing a 1-arm cable crossover thing, right? I'll hold on to a machine. I may push with one arm with a cable. I usually will push down, right? And I'll push like I'm kind of punching. I'll wind up with the cable back here on the handle, right? Then I may do one up. Well, once I've done whichever one it is I'm doing, I can't get another one, I immediately grab this one, do this one. As soon as I'm done, I immediately grab this one. I just keep going. If I have to, I drop the weight. Just keep going. Now, your goal is do not stop. Do not stop. Fucking drive. 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 Your goal is to see how much you can do and how quickly and how thoroughly you can exhaust that fucking chest. How many angles, how many this, how many that. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. Just pushing blood now. You're never going to be fresh again like you are that first exercise. That's why when I see guys that have been in there an hour and they're still using so much weight that they're turning an isolation movement into a compound movement, I'm like, what the fuck does that make? You're not pushing shit compared to what you could push if you were fresh. So do you think you're gaining from that? You're not really. You're gaining a little, but you're denying yourself the real gains that are there. If you would specify better, do a better job at that with the form, and lighten the weight up and face reality of where you're at right now and play to your whole cards, you would gain more size, right? But few guys will do that because of the ego thing. So that's how I want you to do it, okay? Now, when you go and do, and you don't need to be in there. Like if you just do chest, 45 minutes, you should have blown that chest out. The bulk of that time should be with your benching. The bulk of that time should be with that flat bench. You should probably, let's say you train between 45 minutes and an hour. Wholly half of that time should be your flat bench. Then the other half of that time is going to be every other exercise and all the rest of the reps. And the reps will be higher after that in a broad spectrum. Sometimes I'll go as high as 30 fucking reps. If I'm really grinding and burning, right? Yeah. Sometimes I won't go lower than 12 or 15 on any exercise after that. But I'll do a large volume of work. Now I'm chasing that pump, really. And you'll feel that shit. With carbolin and L-arginine, you'll feel it. Chase that pump. You want to wear out that glycogen. Okay? See what gives out first. Yeah. That's what you want to do. Okay, so that's your chest. Now, when you come in next time, whatever body part you're doing then, maybe do 2 body parts at a time. I don't know. So that would be a larger body part or a smaller body part. If I were going to do something with chest, I would do triceps. Maybe some shoulders. That's what I do. Follow with that. If I were going to do something with back, maybe biceps, maybe more shoulders. That's what I do. Okay, back day comes around. First exercise, deadlifts. Deadlifts. Now, how do you do it? Get you a bench to sit your ass on because you're going to need it. You're going to need it. Get you something to sit on. And get you a bar on the floor. Put a couple plates on, and you're going to do it just like you did chest. Not real terrible challenging. Get your stretch, get your form good. Sit back on those heels, basically. Your weight's on your heels. Once you set up and you roll that bar all the way up, I roll the bar all the way up to my shins. Bar's touching my shins. When I pull, if I have shorts on, that's my misfortune because my shins are going to bleed. I drag the bar right at my shins. I can't help it. I got to pull all the way back and straight up. All right? The head's not moving, nothing's moving when you come up. That means hips don't come up first, ass comes up first, and then head follows. No. Head leads the way. Head starts to come up. The way you're situated when you begin, you lock everything, arms are straight, backs up, leaning back, ready to pull. Now, when you pull, it all moves together. If something's coming up and rising up, it's going to be from the head. You understand what I'm saying? Not the hips and the head stays down. No. Straight up. So the first one, we're going to do shrugs with this. Because we don't need to do a bunch of reps of just deadlifts. So what you're going to do is put your weight on, grab your bar, stand up, and shrug that weight. Maybe 30 reps, lightweight. Then set that weight down. Add some weight. Rest. Come back. Pick it up. 1 rep. Shrug. 20, whatever. Set it down. Add weight. Do the same thing as you did before with chest. Work up until you get to a weight that's going to be a bitch to pull once. Cinch that belt up. Do whatever you got to do. Keep that form good. You can fuck yourself up if you fuck up form on the back work like that. Keep that head up. Deadlifts can hurt you if you do it wrong. Lean back, so forth, so on. Pull that son of a bitch up. When you stand up with it, shrug it. No straps. No nothing like this. until the bar is falling out of your hands. When the bar drops out of your hands, when it pulls your hands apart, if you can hold your hands like this, monkey grip, gorilla grip, and you're still holding that bar shrugging, keep doing it. You don't need straps yet. Why? Because you're going to need that fucking grip. Suppose somebody's trying to wrestle that fucking firearm out of your hand. Suppose somebody's trying to wrestle away from you. Eventually, if you're not already there, those forearms and that grip will become so powerful from not using these stupid ass straps and shit when you do your back work, your pull, that when you get a hold of something, brother, you're going to have a hold of it. And that can help in a lot of ways. If you're fucking falling off of something, God forbid, you got to climb up something and slip, you know, you may only have one free hand, whatever it takes. You know what I mean? Whatever it takes. You may be fucking holding on to one guy trying to save his life and hanging on to a fucking ladder with the other hand. You might want to let him drop. If it's a chick, I'd hang on. But that's the whole point there. No straps, no nothing until you've already dropped that weight. When you've already crashed that weight, then you can put your straps on, right? And that's probably going to be after you've done your heavy set. Then you come down again, and the same thing. Rep the fuck out, rep the fuck out. Deadlifting now, there was a time when I may break my own rule and spend as much as an hour just flat benching the way I described. And when back there, I may spend as much as an hour just doing deadlifts. It is what it is. You know, wide range of reps. Once you've worked up, get your heavy strength set. Now, the only reason that we care about building strength in this fucking adventure we're having here, we're about to undertake, we want to build strength because that set that we can go 15 reps with, that hypertrophy set, we want the weights to come up in that range. We want that weight to come up. So we need to get stronger. That's why we're concerned with strength. That's why we do it this way. But this way you get the best of both worlds. You stimulate all muscle fibers. Same thing again. When you finish those deadlifts, you know, get some fucking water and you chill out and go on and do whatever back exercise you want now. Just don't go crazy heavy. Stay in that 15, 12, 15, 14, fucking 20 rep range and burn and grind it in. The back is a very complex bunch of muscles. Burn and grind, baby. Pump and pump and pump. Swell it up until you feel like you're going to bust. Chase that pump. Push that blood. Blood's full of all the nutrients if you're eating right. Right? Wear out that glycogen. Burn it out. Burn it, thrash it out, and then put it back in. So that's that. And pretty much that's how you do it. That's how we train, and you follow suit with anything of the rest of the shit you do. Now, after you've done like your chest on chest day, if you're going to do triceps, that's a different story. Don't be doing those 6 rep shit, working up to heavy 1 rep. Don't do that shit. It's only for your staple shit. That's for back day, your deadlifts. Chest day, your bench. Leg day, your squats. That's what that's for. The rest of it, all the other shit, the little parts, they don't need that. They're getting enough secondary work. They're getting enough secondary work just from doing those deadlifts, just from doing those chest presses, all that shit, that they don't need to be specifically beat on like that. So those you want to keep the reps higher anyway. And again, explore the angles, man. And don't hurt your shoulders. Don't fuck your shoulder up. Don't do anything reckless and careless and dangerous. Everything has to be careful and well thought out. It's safe to do it, but you got to be careful and well thought out. You need a multivitamin. You need to get you some I Like BCAA Power by Labrada. It's got electrolytes in it. It's got BCAAs in it. And I will drink what comes out to be 4 scoops pre-workout. I put that in my pre-workout with my Carbolin and my L-arginine. And I can feel the fucking difference. Now, people tell you they can't feel it. They ain't tried it. You got to put enough. You got to take in enough. You will feel it. And if I'm taking 40 grams, you ain't going to need 40 grams. I would say maybe take in 20 to 30 grams. That's still a hell of a lot of BCAAs. You will feel it. It's going to keep you from cramping up. It's going to keep you from, it will help prevent muscle pulls and all kinds of stuff like that. So, and it's going to keep you anabolic, hopefully. So that's kind of some information. You need to get your water intake has to be right. Your muscle's mostly water. Well-hydrated muscle is a very nice, full, round muscle. And it's a muscle capable of a greater contraction and greater performance with less chance of injury. So, you got to get the water on board. All these things work together. They all work together. You got to take care of business, put it all together. If you have any more questions, and I expect you will, contact me and we'll go over some more. When you get started, if you have any questions, contact me. We'll go over some more. As you're making progress, any questions? What do? You know what to do. You've already done it. And another thing I like to do is I had a specialized training regimen. I used to put a precinct that I actually used to work with officers through one time. And I like to use bands and even chains. Chains just because they're a lot of fun and the guys enjoy doing it. But and it helps. But bands are priceless in that kind of line of work. For explosive power, bands are the shit. Don't you worry about that right now, okay? Small steps to the moon. Let's get some fucking size on. You should be able to put some serious size on without too much time. But the nutrition's got to be there. You can't build muscle out of anything but protein. And there's studies that say that. So, muscle's made out of protein. No protein, no muscle. Sorry, don't care what anybody fucking says. If you're not getting sufficient amounts of protein, you're not building muscle. It's simple as that. It's not my opinion. It's science. All right, brother, that's it, man. Good luck, and go get busy. Go get busy. And remember, you got to be able to recover too. You got to be able to recover. So try it out and see what you think. Let me know.